The New York Times says that Oslo has remade itself into a major cultural destination. Today, we're going to find out if that's true. I'll be trying all the wrecks on the Times list, and you might be surprised that the best thing to do in Oslo isn't even mentioned by the Times. And my second favorite thing to do in Oslo was recommended by the Times, but it's the last thing you'd expect to be great. We'll also be doing a lightning tour of my 3 favorite Oslo hotels. I visited 12 and stayed at 4 to find the 3 best. Now, I'm kind of surprised that the Times doesn't mention this one, but the Nobel Peace Center is right next door to the National Museum, so it's an easy stop to make. Alfred Nobel was not Norwegian, he was Swedish, and 4 of the 5 Nobel Prizes are awarded in Stockholm. But the Nobel Peace Prize is awarded here in Oslo. You know, I'm surprised that the Times overlooked this one too. The Akershus Fortress is an easy 5 to 10 minute walk from the heart of the city and overlooks Oslo's harbor. This 13th century castle is a blend of medieval and Renaissance architecture with well-preserved buildings and great views. This is a great stop if you're into history or historical architecture. But if you're not, then we'll hit the city's modern architecture next. This is the National Museum that opened in 2022. There's a bit of controversy around the architecture of this building. People either love it or hate it. Let me know what you think. I'll tell you what I think. I don't love it. It has over 7,000 items inside, so if this appeals to you, plan at least for a full day. How about another architecturally controversial building? This time, the Munch Museum, that's right behind the Opera House, home to the Scream, plus tons of other Munch masterpieces. On the upper floors, there are interactive exhibitions with objects from Munch's home and studio. You know, I can't recommend or not recommend this museum. It all depends whether or not you like this kind of art. Okay, time for something totally different. Don't be fooled into buying an expensive fjord cruise. Do a cruise on your own, like a local. There are a few different islands to visit in the Oslo Fjord, and the city operates public ferries going to all these islands. Tickets are 40 kroner or about 4 USD, 1/10 the cost of the tourist-trappy fjord tours. You can take short hikes on many of these islands, but if you don't feel like taking a hike, just stay on the boat and see Oslo from a different perspective. Some of the ferries will do a 1-hour round trip, and you can buy snacks and drinks on board, so just sit outside with a cold beer and take in the city. And by the way, if you want real fjords, get out of Oslo. This is nothing compared to Western Norway. I cover that in my Norway Stuff You Should Know video. Okay, here's one that the Times nailed. So this is a neighborhood that the Times says is best for shopping in Oslo, and after walking around for a few minutes, that seems right to me. The Times likes Holzweiler that sells fashionable clothing in a sleek space. My friend Darby bought boots here. Darby got boots. And as a bonus, there's also a nice cafe that's part of the store. Take a break from the shopping for lunch or a nice coffee. So we're gonna head into Norwegian Rain, my favorite raincoat shop in the world. So it's business expense. This is the medium. I think so, yeah. Devold is for Norwegian wool garments, and Dapper is what the Times recommends for Scandi menswear. I don't know why the Times didn't include this one. I think it's Oslo's best piece of architecture. It was designed by the Norwegian firm Snøhetta, who also designed the wonderful Boulder Hotel that I cover in a different video. This is the only opera house that I know of where they not only encourage you to go up to the roof, but it's built right into the design. In other countries, this might get you arrested, but in Oslo, walking on the opera house roof is encouraged, and a great way to see the city, especially at sunset. There are a bunch of private saunas on Oslo's Fjord that you can book for about 25 USD. Most are across from the opera house, but there's a few more along the Oslo Quay close to the ferry terminal. Dusk and early evening seem to be the busiest times. Darby was with me and we managed to have a pretty good time here. Sauna time! Yeah, I was pretty skeptical of this recommendation from the Times, but it turns out the Oslo Public Library is actually the coolest library I've ever been in. It's actually one of the coolest buildings I've ever been in. It's amazing. I'm most surprised that this didn't make it onto the New York Times list. But to be fair, the Kistefos Sculpture Museum is about an hour outside of Oslo. I love this place. It's a park with sculptures throughout, some of them pretty mind-bending, set along this beautiful river. But my favorite part is what they call the twist. Designed by starchitect Bjørki Ingels, aka Big, the building's both a bridge and an incredible art space, with this twisting bit in the middle, filled with wonderful sculptures and a beautiful backdrop. And drink plenty of coffee, because you're gonna want to go to the bathroom here. Okay, now that you know what to do, how about getting around and where to stay? Oslo is small enough that you can walk most places, but scooters and rental bikes are readily available. Oslo is also well connected by bus and tram. The easiest way to travel on them is to download the Ruter app and buy digital tickets starting at about $5. The Oslo Pass is also an app and worth considering because it includes all of Oslo's public transport, plus ferries and admission to most museums. Prices for adults start at about $50 US. Uber's in Oslo, but both Uber and taxis are expensive. I suggest getting to and from the airport aboard this train. It's convenient to most parts of downtown, and it's easy to find tickets at the airport. My focus on this channel is finding the world's coolest places to stay. And I never make a hotel rec until I've personally checked out all the options and test-driven what look to be the best places. Like I said, I've visited 12 hotels in Oslo and stayed at 4 to come up with my recs. Most of the hotels I visited weren't that special or were in pretty bad locations. Anyway, the Times suggests the Sommerro Hotel, and I 100% agree with this recommendation. I had more fun here than at any other city hotel in a long time. Even if you're not staying here, Tak Oslo is a Norwegian-Japanese fusion restaurant on the hotel's roof, and right below that is Izakawa, one of Norway's best bars that features Japanese street food. And on the ground floor is Oslo's best jazz bar. My complete tour is here. But the Times missed Villa Inkognito. That's a sister hotel to the Sommerro. One of the most elegant hotels I've ever stayed at. My stay there is also covered in the same video as the Sommerro. The Times also suggests Amerikalinjen. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but it's across the street from the train station. I checked it out, but was really unimpressed by both the location and some cheap design elements, so I won't recommend that one. The Times also suggests the K7 as an affordable small hotel. I'd agree that it's nice, but one block down is what I think is the best affordable design hotel in Oslo, called the Rivier, with a bunch of room options, some with small kitchens, and also some more standard rooms. There's a nice bar here and a great vibe. Attached to the hotel is the Michelin-starred Savage. You'll want to book this one way in advance. You'll probably end up flying into Oslo if you're visiting Norway, and I think it's worth stopping here for at least 2 days. But if you want to see some of Norway's coolest places to stay, check out my playlist of amazing design hotels. That's my specialty. Besides Oslo, Bergen and Ålesund have tons of charm. Those cities are covered in my Norway Stuff You Should Know video, along with everything else you need to know to have a great trip to one of the world's most beautiful countries. Check it out here. Thanks for watching, and see us in the next video. I should have worn this when I was chasing the sheep in Antarctica.